Hi, my sweet friends. It's Nana Rose, and today's video is brought to you as a public service announcement for your own safety. This is very important to me, and I have a project that I'm working on that I had to stop doing because I just felt this was so important. I needed to share it with you right away. Actually, I'm trying to avoid doing something. You know, if you looked at the thumbnail of this video, you probably wondered what the heck that was. Well, it's something that ended up being very dangerous. Back when the pandemic started, you remember how there were shortages of all kinds of things. Well, I decided I better stock up on laundry detergent and softener. So I bought a huge Costco size, which is like 100-gallon drums. I mean, you know, they're not that, but they're huge, huge bottles of detergent and fabric softener. Well, when they arrived, I had ordered them online. When they arrived, they were so big they wouldn't fit in my laundry room cupboards, which meant they would have to sit out on top of my laundry room appliances. And in that laundry room, I have the washer and dryer. I have a little mini fridge there that I have for keeping extra beverages and extra food, especially during the holidays when I've got more than my refrigerator can hold. But anyway, so those three things are there. There's also the side entrance to my house. Family always comes in through that side entrance, so they come in through my laundry room. So much, and I live in the country. I don't have sidewalks, so tons of grass and pine needles and everything else ends up getting tracked in. So I keep a rug there, and that's just the first thing people see when they come in my house. So if somebody comes with one of my children and it's the first time they've seen my house, they've been to my house, the first thing they see is my laundry room. So I try to keep it looking nice. And I'm one of these people, I just want everything decorated all pretty and cutesy. And so I have, you know, a lot of foo-foo in there. I've got pictures on the wall. I've got fake topiaries in there. I have a little bunny lamp sitting on my dryer that I use as a night light at night. But anyway, so to me, it's cute. And that's the way I like it. So when this pandemic hit and I got these huge bottles, I didn't want them sitting out because to me that was unattractive. So I was trying to figure out what I could do to have my laundry detergent and softener there, but not looking ugly. So I came up with the great idea to get one of those beverage dispensers for tea and lemonade and stuff that you see at picnics that has a little spout on it that you just flip and then the liquid comes out. And put fabric softener in one and detergent in the other. And it worked so beautifully, I thought, oh, this is great. I posted it on Facebook. People were saying, oh, what a clever idea. And it looked beautiful. And I filled the jugs up, and then I took what was still left and took it upstairs and put it in the guest room closet. So I was doing laundry yesterday, and I went in to get a load out of the dryer, and I noticed something didn't look right. The whole top of my little mini fridge where the dispenser sat, the whole top of it was blue. I have a beautiful little tray that I keep under it to catch any drips. It was full of fabric softener. It had overflowed onto the top of the mini fridge, so it was all covered. It had run down the side of the mini fridge, down the side of the dryer. There was fabric softener coming out from under the mini fridge. It was also coming out from under my dryer. the whole gallon had leaked out onto the floor. So I think when I filled it up, and I was trying to get the very last little bit of it in this dispenser, so I kept pouring and pouring, and it went all the way up to the net. So there was like that much where the lid fastens that didn't have softener in it. And I think what happened is that the pressure of so much going in there probably forced the nozzle open. I'm telling myself that maybe this old lady hit it by mistake or something. I hadn't used it, but with moving it around, I could have bumped it and not realized it. But anyway, I had a huge mess on my hands. And I started trying to clean it up. So I used paper towels out in the front of it, trying to get what I could to get close enough to even pull the washer and the dryer and the mini fridge out so I could get out from under it. And I'd take paper towels and I'd mop up what was on the floor in front of it, and more would just come out. It was like the never-ending story, just more fabric softener, more fabric softener. So I cleaned up a bit, and then I thought, okay, I've got what I could, and it was still oozing out, so I thought I'll just take a break for a few minutes. As I'm getting older, I'm learning it's important to stop and take a break. My late husband, I used to get so frustrated with him because I tended to be one that's like, let's get this finished, let's go gung-ho and never take a break and about kill yourself. So he used to tell me it's important to just stop sometimes and take a break. So I'm realizing he was right, and so I stopped and I went in and I called my sister. We had a video call and I was telling her what had happened. She's like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry that happened. And so she had a few suggestions and about what might possibly work and clean up a little bit easier. I had tried a mop, and there's just so much fabric softener that it's hard to even wring the mop out afterwards. So anyway, I listened to her and I thought, okay, I'll get back in there. I finally got enough cleaned out I could pull the little mini fridge out, and oh my gosh, it was like a half an inch thick behind it. The mini fridge is not as deep as the dryer is that it's beside, so it left an opening behind it. And with not having sidewalks and all the grass and stuff that gets tracked in that way and the wind blowing, there were pine needles back there. There were, just globs of bark and grass, and obviously I hadn't pulled that out in a while to clean. So I couldn't even salvage the fabric softener by scraping it up and reusing it. It was just full of pine needles and stuff. So I scooped up, finally got most of it up under the mini fridge. It had actually stained the grout at the back. I have tile floor in there, and it had actually stained the white tile. It was a beautiful shade of blue. So I'm hoping I can scrub that really good and get it to come out. If not, I guess it's out of sight, out of mind. Till I die and my kids go to sell my house, and then people are going to go, what the heck was this? So my sister called me later and she said, I'm just checking to see, did you go off your diet? After that happened, I thought you'd probably be so stressed out that you'd eat something you shouldn't eat. And I said, no, actually, I haven't. I've stuck with it. By the way, I'm down 19.6 pounds. So I'm 0.4 of a pound away from hitting 20 pounds in about, I think it's 5.5 weeks. So I'm very happy with that. But man, I've still got a ways to go, but that's okay. I'm working on it. So I said, no, I made it through. I said, I'm just trying to pace myself, sis. I said, the worst case scenario is it's going to start drying under there before I can get it all cleaned up. And I said, if it does, I'll just use a scraper and scrape it off the floor. And it might actually be easier than trying to mop it up. At least my laundry room smells very nice now. But it made me think that, you come up with good ideas or things that seem to be such a help, or things where you feel like this is a safe situation and it turns out not to be. And it just made me think. Last night, I went over to my daughter and son-in-law's. He's a fantastic cook. And he knows I love Mexican. He loves Mexican food as well. We could eat it every day. And so he was making carne asada burgers. And he made some homemade pico de gallo and also made tomatillo salsa from scratch. And he likes things really, really hot. I like things fairly hot, but, you know, I'm not hardcore into the heat with the food. But, so they invited me to come over for dinner last night. And I went over and we had a wonderful dinner. The burgers were amazing. They were so juicy. And then afterwards we went out and sat on their back deck, and we were somehow talking about things from when the kids were little. And Heidi, a few times ago when I went to visit, was saying something about, Mom, do you remember when we had that box truck or some kind of a panel van or something? And she said, you and Dad used to let us use the back of it for a playhouse. And I said, no, I do not remember that. But that doesn't mean anything, because I've learned there's a lot from their childhood I don't remember. Probably just blanked it out intentionally. So I said, no, I don't remember that. And so we asked around. None of the family remembered that. And she said, Mom, she said, I took that deer tapestry out there and I hung it on the wall of this box truck. And I'm saying, now, I do remember a deer tapestry that we had that your dad had brought back from Germany. And she said, yeah, that one. She said, I took it out and I hung it on the wall of this box truck. And I'm going, Heidi, I don't remember a box truck. And so she brought that up again last night. And Dan, her husband, was going, oh, gosh, don't start about the box truck again. And she said, it drives me nuts because I know it was real. And it just got us going down a whole path of real and imagined things and what we think might be dangerous that isn't and what is. And so she said, I still remember we lived out in Washington State, and we had a split-level home. They're called different things in different parts of the country, but essentially you go in the house, and the minute you walk in, you either have to go upstairs or downstairs. Well, all of the main living area was on the upstairs, including the girls' bedrooms, and they shared a bedroom at that time. Their dad had made bunk beds for them. And Heidi swears that she saw the snake from Robin Hood, Sir Hiss, outside her window, which was up. Now you got to remember, we had a garage plus the main level, and then her room's up on the top level. And she's claiming she fed a snake popcorn out the window. And she still swears it's true. And I said, well, maybe it is. She was saying, I was so scared and I was trying to feed it popcorn so it wouldn't hurt us. And it took me back, and I remembered a time where I saw something that as an adult, I really feel like there's no way that I could have seen that, but I did. It seems just as real as can be to me. My grandma lived out on the outer edges of town. She lived across the street from the house where I set the field on fire. She had a great big yard, and she had an outhouse. There was no indoor plumbing. I hated going to that outhouse because she had chickens and a rooster. And that rooster just dared you to get to the outhouse. He would chase you, and I would scream. And, you know, it was just always a race for your life and to save your legs to get away from that rooster. So when I went, I tried to be quiet and not be noticed by the rooster. So this one particular day, I went down to the outhouse, and I came out, and I swear to you, there was a man standing there, and I don't know how many of you are old enough to remember the TV show The Lone Ranger. It was a cowboy who was all in white usually, but he wore a black mask. And, you know, he went around doing good. Nobody knew who he was because of this mask, supposedly. Well, there next to my grandma's outhouse path is a little wire fence, like a cattle fence. There were no cattle, there was all woods. But I look and I see this man, and he's in a red plaid shirt, flannel plaid shirt, and he's got a Lone Ranger mask on and a hunting cap and a gun. I saw this thing, and I just went screaming to the house. Now, I know logically that could not have been the case. I mean, while we were out on the outer edges of town, it was still not some big hunting area or something where people would have been going around carrying guns. And even if it was a hunter in the woods, why would he have a Lone Ranger mask on? I don't know. But it seems to me that I really, truly did see that. So we started talking about things that, you know, the kids remember things and then the parents don't. And Heidi said, do you remember when I used to put the rules for my room on the front, on the door to my room? And I said, kind of. And she said, remember the one that said no tip borrowing? And I said, what? And she said, it said no tip borrowing. And I said, what the heck are you talking about? She said, I put a sign on my door because Heather kept taking my tights, and I was putting these rules that she couldn't borrow my tights anymore. There was no tight borrowing. But she said, I didn't know how to spell tights, and I spelled it T-I-T-S, or T-I-T. And so I said, no, I don't remember that, Heidi. I said, that's so funny. And she said, I'm telling you, I did that. She said, I'm calling Heather. And so she called her sister, Heather, and we did a video call. And she asked Heather if she remembered it. And she goes, yep, I remember. I remember. She said, oh, I had forgotten all about that. So it just started a whole thing of recollections and scary things, and how once they thought they saw a witch, what is it, Baba Yaga or something, outside the window of their room. The world's a jungle out there. You just got to be careful. Even an innocent liquid dispenser can be dangerous when filled with fabric softener. The Lone Ranger could be out by your outhouse. Sir Hiss could be watching you and coming after you. So you better be careful out there. It truly is a jungle. Bye-bye till next time. Love and hugs.